Hello, hello. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am. My
You hear me?
yes, ma'am. My service might not be the best. I don't have good weather and my lights have been flickering off and on. Did you hear me, Dr. Pound?
Yes, go ahead.
My service might not be the best because of the weather and my power has been flickering off and on
Where are you?
in Georgia.
I'm supposed to go to Panama City on Friday. Let's pray it's still there.
Wait.
It's in the panhandle. So it's like, let's hope it's just still there when I go. Okay. So have you been watching the coverage?
My birthday's Thursday. It needs to go away.
It does need to go away. How old are we? 29 again?
Oh, thank you. 31.
I was gonna, how old?
31.
I would never have guessed. I would never guess. Oh my gosh, you're younger than that, most definitely.
Thank you. Noxzema.
Ah,
That's,
really?
that's all I use.
Oh my gosh, that has been around forever. My mother used it.
That's all I use is Noxzema.
Wow.
For
Wow.
moisturizer, I use bio oil, but that's it.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna have to go back to that. That's what I grew up on. Wow.
It
What
works
are you
well.
doing for your birthday?
Well, I was supposed to be going to the beach, so I'm not sure just
Which,
yet.
which one?
Jacksonville.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha.
I'm not sure.
You can head on over to where is it?
Myrtle Beach.
I was trying to think where the closest casino was. You could stay in. So probably Biloxi. What the
Yeah, that's
closest?
far.
Yeah. Well, if you go then, let's see. So the casino closest to me is the one in North Carolina.
Okay,
That's
the
the closest one.
Horizon. Is it the Horizon?
Yes.
Okay, I've been there
Yeah.
once.
How's everybody doing?
I'm so
Marcus,
sorry.
I've missed you. I thought you broke up with me.
No, I was severely sick.
COVID?
No, it wasn't COVID, but almost everything but COVID.
Oh my goodness.
Beginning of the school year germs just did not come to play. So
Uh, I've heard that. I've heard that. I've had a couple people tell me that this year was really bad.
yeah.
Yeah. I've heard those COVID numbers are going back up also.
Hmm.
Yeah, I heard that it's harder to diagnose it actually, that if you don't catch it right at the beginning, that the tests come back like negative because it's no longer in your nasal passages.
With this BA, the new
The new variant. Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. So how do they test you for it then?
So I don't know if it was in your throat. I can't remember. I stopped reading after a while. So I was like, well, we all probably walk around with it. Like
When
over
I
it.
was in, where was I? When I was in Aruba, they didn't do nose testing. They did mouth swab. And like a just mouth swab and a throat swab.
Kind of like how they do for strep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So yeah, so that was like, because I kept thinking, I hate the nose thing in my nose, and I kept thinking, oh, they're going to do that. And they're like, oh no, open your mouth. I'm like, oh, okay. So let's hope it doesn't come back with a vengeance, but I would like it to come back enough for me to go stay at home and work. I'm just saying.
Agreed.
I just want to work from home tomorrow, okay?
I'm home tomorrow. School's canceled tomorrow.
Oh, because of the weather.
Yep.
Be safe. Be safe. Hope you don't lose power because it's hot.
Very.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what are we working on today?
Group.
Have we studied during the week with each other? We know each other well? But we've studied.
We didn't meet this week.
Okay, 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 okay. So tell me what you know about group. Did you start on it? Did you do some reading on group?
I just looked at the video from last week, just kind of went back over the parts that you had gone over. I didn't get any further than what we did last week. I was just kind of just refreshing that portion before moving forward. Sorry.
Anybody else?
I looked over some of the books that you gave us, which was basically what you went over last time, and I made
Mhm.
flashcards so I
Okay.
can keep going over it because it's easier for me to do flashcards than a lot of stuff.
Very good, very good, very good. So read to me some of your flashcards. Let's see what you're learning. You have them in front of you?
Sorry, I didn't know I was on mute. Yeah, I do. So I did more like flashcards like what is active listening, and then fully engaged and understand the speaking, like kind of just like going over like what
And the goal in active listening is I don't actually have to say anything. So I don't have to, so active listening, I can just be making eye contact. I can be leaning in. Have you seen that term, SOLER? Square shoulders. Looks what it stands for. Oh yeah, that's a term for active listening, of how we just really stand there and just look at it, and the body contact that we make.
and what was the acronym again?
I want to pull it up. Pull it up. So the S is for sitting squarely. The O is for open stance. The L is for leaning. Do you see my screen? Am I sharing? Yes. Leaning forward. E is for eye contact. R is for relaxed body language. Okay, so that's what that stands for, SOLER. So that's an active listening skill where you're not saying anything. Okay, so the goal is like you're welcoming. The client knows that you are there to listen. Okay, and even I would say to people, just if you just pretend you're listening, just look at me. That gets us so far, okay? Even if you're not really, just pretend you're listening to me. Oh, then your chat box. Okay. So what else? Let's quiz the group with your note card. Let's see what they know.
Okay, I wrote laissez-faire style.
Okay. Anybody know what that is?
That's like the hands off, very like relaxed, laid back style.
Okay. So when can I use that?
And maybe like a
You're right. You're absolutely right. So the laissez-faire, and whether it's a style I'm using in group or style that I use in running my office, it means that I trust that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, so I don't have to be on you all the time. Okay, so it literally means like fairly lazy, but I'm really not. I know how to run a group. If the fight breaks out, I'm on it. I know what I'm doing. So it literally translates into just fairly lazy. Okay, so in a group that knows what they're doing, especially if you're already in those cohesive states, right? You're tight. Then that's when I can really lay back and just kind of let it happen. Okay. Next one.
Blocking.
Oh, so is that good for let's talk about the client. If the client blocks, is that a good thing, anybody? It's not. What's the client is blocking? Go ahead.
It's only good. I just said it's only good when the therapist does.
Got it. So if the client is doing it, what's he trying to do? That's another sign of resistance, right? They're not ready to go forward. They're not ready to go on. They're just really going to stay kind of where they are in that group setting right now. So what does it look like if the therapist does it? Why would she do it?
My understanding would be if like a client just keeps talking over somebody and not letting others speak, so the therapist might block and be like, hey, let's have so-and-so speak.
Absolutely. Marcus, would you just please stop talking and give Emily a chance? Nicer than that, but wow, Marcus, you've really shared your opinion today. We really appreciate that. Maybe we could just hear from somebody else, right? So that's what we're going to do. Very good. Keep going.
Okay. Universality.
Ah, that's one of Yalom's curative factors as well. Anybody? What does that mean? Anybody but Emily?
That you're not the only one. The problem is others are experiencing it as well, I guess.
Got it. Now, universality is a good thing in group, right? I go to AA because I'm not the only alcoholic. When we get to the chapter with diversity, it's not a good thing, right? We don't want to take a universal approach. We don't want to treat everybody the same. But in group, it's a good thing. But in the diversity, we don't like that approach at all. Okay. What is that that corrective recapitulation of your family?
What was it?
Corrective recapitulation of your family or primary family issues. One of those Yalom curative factors. Anybody? He said that you could fix your stuff with your family in a group setting, because remember, the group is supposed to be a microcosm of the real world. So we have multiple transferences in a group setting. So you can remind me of my mom, you can remind me of my dad, you remind me of my uncle.
Mirror family.
Say again?
It's when the group mirrors the family.
So it doesn't necessarily mirror the family. It helps me work through an issue with my family through the group. So the question was like something like, Pam and her mother never got along, but she really found this great woman in group that is an older woman and she really relates to. So the question will let me know that that's the answer.
So what's it called?
I'll show you. It's like a corrective recapitulation of your primary family issues. So where did I go over these last week?
Yes.
Where did I stop?
Well, you got through 21. So we stopped on insights for y'all. But on your paper that you gave us.
The number is 21 though, right?
Oh no. Well, I guess if they're the same, yours. The document you sent us was 21. Yeah.
Okay. So these are Yalom's curative factors. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so Yalom is our one of our big group guys. He's an existentialist. What does that mean?
Wants to help you understand the why, the purpose, and why am I still living.
Absolutely. Why do I exist? Why am I here? It talks about anxiety. Our anxiety is not being able to be our very best. And of course, we then feel anxiety and guilt. So you feel guilty if we don't survive, don't do what we've been on this earth, put on this earth to do. So the curative factors are altruism. Altruism is literally doing something without asking for anything in return. Okay. One of my older neighbors, she's in her 70s, and I know something happened to her car this week, and she lives on like $1,400 a month of the Social Security that she gets and her husband's pension. I sent her groceries today. I have no idea what she likes. but I just kind of picked everything that would be, just to bless her. I don't want anything in return. I tell you guys, I wouldn't tell anybody else. It's just giving back without asking anything in return. Okay. That's why people go back to AA after I've been clean for, 40 years. I'm still coming because that last step of AA says I'm supposed to continue to give back and bring someone over with you. And that's where universality also comes from, his curative factors. INTER, remember, interpersonal learning is always about learning about other people or with other people. INTRA is inside of me, intra, inside of me, INTER, inter. Freud uses intra because he talks about intrapsychic. Okay. Imparting information, simple as it says, sharing information with you. Developing socialization techniques. What does that mean?
Please, thank you. Yes. Stand up, sit down, open the door.
Exactly. So those are called pro-social skills also. That's another term for it. So we're learning those skills. So learning to wait my turn in group, right? Learning that I don't have to answer every time Barbara says something. Imitative behavior. So that's modeling on the social work, on the counselor or the social worker's behalf, right? So not only me, but they can learn from others as well. So if a client is rude to me and they watch how I handle it. So group cohesion, that's the tightness in group. Catharsis, what's that term?
Releasing releasing emotions that are
Pent up. Yep. A cry, a moan, just some of that deep primal, just like, that's a Freudian term, but Yalom used it. Okay. So then the corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. So really what that means is there's someone in the group setting that reminds me of my mom, my dad, my somebody, and we're working through that through the group setting. And the question, again, it'll be very clear. They're not trying to trick you. They'll be very clear that, well, this woman, is sweet and kind and everything that Pam's mom was not. Okay. Installation of hope, of course, that is, hey, that's that, if I can do it, you can do it. Right? He stayed clean. I can do this also. Again, existential factors, right? That is Yalom. So why do I exist? What is my purpose? So in Yalom said, if all of these things are present, then group would be successful. Okay. Now talk about product and content groups and process groups.
Yes.
What's the difference?
I'm going to block. Let somebody else answer.
The content is simply the content, right? That's what we discuss. That's simply the content of what we discuss. A process group is one that's going through the stages. So we discuss in the same content, but the process is the forming, storming, norming, all those stages. The product is if I am in one of those anger management classes, or I'm here to get my kids back. So those are less processed, they're more structured and less processed. That makes sense? So it's going to be authoritarian leader who's telling you exactly how to do it and when to do it. These are the what I'm looking for in a good leader. So these are called the function, the roles of the leader. Emotional stimulation. So that's to keep our group on the feelings level and stay off this the intellectual level. Men especially, men in groups, well, the intellectual level, right? I feel this hurts. Those are things that people, many men don't have. So what he tries to do is really encourage the group members to get to that feelings level. So I know how you behave, but how do you feel about that? Caring, you know what that is, warmth, acceptance, genuineness, meaningful attribution. So that is what your professor wrote to you when you were doing your discussion post. She said, please give meaningful feedback to your peers. Attributions are character, something about your character. Okay, so a meaningful attribution is not going to be a great job. It's going to be, wow, you know what, Janetta, I really liked the way that you discussed how you felt about Bob's issue last week. It was very open and very clear. Okay, not just good job. An executive leadership function. So I do have to be the leader of the group. So what a healthy group looks like, it has these moderate amounts of emotional stimulation, moderate amounts of executive direction, frequent use of caring functions, and consistent use of meaningful attribution. Okay, so if I'm giving too low of those, that's going to be a poor leadership style. The goal really is to encourage the clients to be involved, encourage the clients to share their feelings. So especially that forming stage, right? We don't know each other, we're terrified, but as we get to know each other, I'm going to say, hey, so you know what, Marcus, you know, can you tell Barbara what you're feeling? The look on your face says that, you know, you look a little upset, right? So caring, but I also want to give you a hint of kind of how to draw that line of what to say to them. Okay. Well, although it's not a big one on the test, but use the same kind of things. Jacob Moreno, what did he do? He's considered one of our really early group guys. He did the theater spontaneity. What that means is that, so let's say I've been in group, I've been coming to group for weeks and weeks and weeks, and every week I come in, I've been complaining about my husband. Oh my gosh, he does this, he does that, he's awful, blah, blah, blah. I'm the protagonist. I'm the one with the problem, protagonist. The one who is bothering me is my husband. He's the antagonist. He doesn't have to be in group. He can, but he doesn't have to be. Okay? Protagonist wants the problem. Antagonist, the one that's antagonizing me, the group member. So what's going to happen is two other group members are going to get up on stage and act out what I've been saying. They're going to act out what they think my life is like. Okay, no script, no, it's spontaneous, right? It's just because they've been watching me. The auxiliary audience are the other group members, of course, and then the director is a group leader. But it's like watching someone play you on stage. So, you know, if you realize that if you hear that actor, the other group member, like complaining all the time, like, oh, I do that. Or never say anything good about your spouse. Like, oh, I do that. Okay. So psychodrama, the psychodrama occurs on a stage, whether it may be an actual stage or part of the room. And that just means, so if Jacob Moreno had a stage, but in a group setting, you would just kind of have the group, you know, maybe open it up a bit and then have everybody watch what's happening with the actors that are acting out. 3 parts of psychodrama, which happen to be the same 3 parts of any group pretty much. A warm-up, a pre-action, an action, and this is integration. The integration part is where I realize that, hey, this is my life. Other groups, you'll see warm-up, action, and then a closing event or closing group. And we always start within group setting. We always start up with a opening or pre-action. We're going to have the actual group setting and some kind of closure event. Anybody do groups? So what do you usually start with?
A getting to know you activity.
Very good. So any kind of icebreaker, right? So I'll do roses and thorns, or, you know, any kind of icebreaker, right? And even if we've been group every week, I still may go back and then just say, you know, something like a summarization of what we learned last week. So I may start off our pre-group, maybe, so can someone tell me what they picked up from last week, or what do you remember from the last group that we met? Okay, and you're going to do a checkout also. You don't want anybody leaving in group who's upset. So if we discuss something really painful today or discuss something about a childhood event, I want to go back and check out with everybody before they leave. Are you okay? Okay. The same kind of things you would do in an individual session. same kind of things. But in a group session, there's usually, how many people should be in this group? What's the great number for group?
It's 7 or 8.
8. 8 is what we're looking for. Okay. And then a child's group, half of that. How long is group?
No more than 8 weeks, right?
Length time, it depends. I mean, time-wise for each session.
Oh,
So how long should each group setting be? That's a better question.
Should it be 45 minutes to an hour?
90 minutes. 90 minutes. An individual session should be 45 to an hour. A group setting should be 90 minutes. So you've got about 8 people and 90 minutes. Right? And again, it's a good thing for the insurance companies. They like that. They like the fact that it is short and you know, as opposed to that 90 minutes, you can see 8 people, right? Or you can see, you know, they can pay you for 8 full hours to see 8 people. So the fact that it's lucrative is a very good thing for the insurance companies. That's something they really do like. Okay. So then, Moreno also did the sociogram. The sociogram also looks at how we relate to each other in a group or classroom setting. You send rain my way, Janetta?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Did you send rain my way? It's like pouring and storming.
You can have it, definitely.
Okie dokie. So this is a sociogram. Okay. So like any of the other grams that we're talking about, so whether it's a eco map or a genogram or things like that, the arrows always talk about the direction of where the information is coming from or the directionality of the relationship. Arrows on both ends mean that, hey, right, we're getting along. So Sam and James, what's their relationship like? Right? Sam talks to James, James talks to Sam. Milo and James talk, right? Both ways. So Milo and so James and Milo are good friends. Sam and James are good friends, but Milo doesn't really seem to care so much for Sam. The arrow's just going one way. So Milo likes Ben, but I don't think Ben really likes Milo. And then, but Ben does give to Oscar. Okay, the only one that actually gives to Ben is Sam. Okay, so the grams tell, the arrows tell me who's going where. Okay, who talks to Lisa?
nobody.
Nobody talks to Lisa. So in this group setting, I see these are all the girls and these are all the boys. So I know that something's going on here, right? Because Lisa's the only one that talks to the boys and the girls. So I know that just by reading the sociogram. And that's also by Moreno. We go on down to talking about family counseling and group counseling. You can have multiple families in counseling. That's really common in like residential facilities, right? We have family weekends. So you might have like 3 kids and 3 families in a group. Same with couples groups, right? You've got 2 couples and they're in the group together, or a couple of couples in the group. Primary, secondary, and tertiary, what are those?
So example, I would say primary group is kind of like an educational group. So maybe we're like talking about a prevention type group is kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. Give me a better example. Give me more.
Diabetes, like maybe diabetes management or
Okay.
um
So primary, secondary, and tertiary are all types of intervention. It just depends on where the person is. So primary intervention goes to everybody. Okay, so everybody gets the same information. So when COVID first started, what did you hear that was on every TV channel all the time?
Wear a mask.
Got it. Stay home. All those things. That's everybody got the same information over and over and over again. However, when it came to when we actually came up with the vaccine, right? Now we have a secondary choice. Who got the vaccine first?
first responders.
And old people, right? People with higher, right? That was not nice. People with elderly people with a compromised immune system. Okay, so that's secondary. So they are higher risk than other people. So they got a different prevention than everybody got in the beginning. And the third level, right? That's the tertiary. So tertiary is now that you had full-blown COVID, right? We had you on life support. Your family couldn't see you, right? We had graves where people couldn't attend. Okay, so that was tertiary. So this is a public health issue. So this one particularly talks about opioids. Okay, so the first prevention, right? Prevention number one that would go to everybody is reduce the need to medicate, control access to addictive substances, and promote protective factors, right? So some examples: tax action, age restrictions, adolescent risk reduction. So, so we now really know that it's really as little as like 5 days you can get addicted to opioids. So we tried to shut down most of the pill mills, right? Right now, I mean, you got to be really hurting to get like 2 of them. Like, oh, come on, right? So definitely we've changed our view of opioids. The secondary now, okay, secondary prevention is chronic disease screening and management. Okay, so now we're understanding. So now that someone who is now they've been taking it, right? And they're using it inappropriately, they're using it as substances. So what we're trying to do now is do something different. Remove the stigma, help them get treatment, understanding how the opioids affects the brain. Opioids are said to be the one true addiction. That no matter who took them, that after a while you would just become addicted. The way that it fires in your brain cells, that everybody would. And then my tertiary, right? That is my ones that's life-threatening. So now that's when I'm, I need something to bring me back to life. That the Narcan, I'm about to die, or using any of the methadone clinics, things like that. So that's my third level. So in a group setting, I'm still looking at one of these 3 levels of prevention. So in elementary school, everybody usually gets some kind of just say no to drugs. Don't just say no, just say no. But not everybody gets the secondary one. So if I've got a kid who's in 5th grade and he's bringing vodka in his Coke bottle at 5th grade, I'm not going to tell him just to say no, am I? He's going to get a different kind of treatment. He needs a lot more attention than what everybody gets. And then the third level, so now he's in 7th and 8th grade, and he's now using harder drugs, and maybe he went to juvenile, or maybe he's in a residential facility. When he gets back out, I'm still trying to keep him clean. Okay, primary, secondary, and tertiary interventions. those examples. So the emphasis on the presenting problem and developing healthy behavior. These can be called guidance and psychoeducational groups. Guidance groups are only done where?
School.
Got it. And a psychoeducational group, what would I be teaching as a counselor? I'm not going to be teaching the effects of heart disease, am I?
Something that I know.
Exactly, something that's in our field. Okay, so I am teaching parents how to deal with their ADHD kids. That's something I can do. That's in my field. Okay, again, secondary, they're preventative and remedial in those. It could also be a counseling group. And that last one talks about a counseling or a therapy group, a tertiary group. Remember, the term psychotherapy groups can only be used in usually a hospital setting. A counseling group is for everybody, but a therapy group or psychotherapy group means you have to have a diagnosis, and it can be a drug and alcohol diagnosis as well. Okay. We turned about multicultural. Just know that many multicultural groups that already don't want to come to individual are going to want to come to groups that are even less. Right? It's bad enough I have to share my stuff with the therapist. Now I want to share with other people. Oh no, no way, no way. Okay. I had a family one time, a long time ago, and I was treating their Indian family. The daughter was a first generation. And she was 14, being a 14-year-old American, the parents were not okay with that. So we had I had a multi-group setting. I had a couple of other teenagers and their parents come in. And one setting, a typical group. The father, when he got the bill, the father was so angry that his name was on the bill, like he had therapy. He was like so mad, and I'm like, okay. So we went back and we took that off the record and stated it was a group for children, and their parents may have attended. Okay, and it wasn't the money. It wasn't the money. He just did not want his name anywhere associated with any kind of therapy. But I could treat his daughter all day long. So lots of cultural aspects with group. So the extent of group members' acculturation may be a significant factor. What does that mean? What's their acculturation level? Acculturation is add a culture. So how much of the American culture have they added to their culture? Okay. So then, some cultures discourage sharing family problems. We know that. Don't be airing your dirty laundry. Define family traditions. It may appear to be resistance because they're not sharing anything. Also, silence, right? In many cultures, Americans just talk too much. There's the questions about high context and low context. Americans are very low context. We talk a lot about nothing. There are other cultures that talk very little, but it matters. Okay? So that's the goal, is we talk a little about nothing. So my daughter-in-law was Swiss German. She would like, why are you talking so much? Why you're always just talking? And to kind of sit in her house in the house with her and my son, they'd both be in the book corner reading books, be in the same room, but just learning to talk. Now my son-in-law, my future son-in-law, he's Israeli, and he is very much a talker. So it just really depends on kind of the culture. Okay. So participants in diverse culture may be insensitive. Participants in a diverse culture counseling group may be insensitive or lack understanding of the cultural needs. And remember, in any setting, it is my job to understand that client's culture. Okay, I always have to understand my own cultural background. That's always the right answer when working with someone of culture. One of the other things that we know is many times that our multicultural clients in group and an individual prefer a very much directed approach. Tell me what to do. They don't like the Carl Rogers, like, oh, let me just, you just keep talking and I'll be warm and caring and blah, blah. No, they don't like that. They want you to tell them exactly what to do. Okay. So those are my groups. As you keep going down, it talks about again, very specific on how each therapy works in group. Okay. So outcome research, it's literally what that shows evidence of the effectiveness of the group. That's the outcome. Process this shows higher level, the quality of research, more lab studies. That's just knowing that verbiage. Remember in group, anyone can leave anytime. Okay, anytime, so you can revoke your informed consent at any time you feel like it. Research demonstrates the perception, expectations, and beliefs of group members can be changed. The continuing question about the effectiveness of counseling, who has been there, etc. The same kind of things apply to individual that wouldn't do in the group counseling. Right? And again, so knowing Gestalt is here and now, right? Knowing that transactional, that's the 3 ego states, that's the scripts we play. Okay, CBT, back. So knowing my theorist, no matter whether it's an individual or a group setting, is still going to get me what I'm looking for. Okay. Remote telemental group work. Same thing. It works the same way as individual, same way it does in group. Okay. Do we talk about picking up family theories, or do we do those already? Did I do family?
It cut out on mine. Can you ask the question again?
I said, did we do family theorist? Or did I say I would pick those up next? Structural, strategic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've done that.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. So did I use the test.com last time, the 750 one?
Use the pocket.
Okay.
Air pocket.
This is a 750 book. Are you guys using this?
I haven't. I'm not using it.
Is there a cost for this?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, thank you.
So this book talks a lot about those roles people play in group. You're just not going to see that many of those roles on the actual test, so I don't usually go over those. You can figure it out just based on what they're asking you. But remember, about roles, no one has told anyone to take that kind of role. They just do it because they want to. And remember, they can come off and they can go over and take different roles at a different time. Okay, number 3, who wants this one?
I'll take a stab at it.
Thank you.
Number 3, which of the following should be part of termination from a group? A review and reinforcement of changes in growth that occurred while in the group. B, a ritual. C, appropriate referral. D, all of the above. E, both A and C only. Which of the following should be part of termination of group? I'm gonna eliminate B.
Why?
Well, just kidding. I'm gonna eliminate. Well, I don't know what they mean by ritual. Like, I don't know
Okay. So
how they're
so
using the word.
especially if it's a group that is an ongoing group, an open group. So if somebody leaves before the group is over, right? You've got people doing 12 weeks or whoever weeks, excuse me, and someone finishes their
Mhm.
sessions before other people, I want to do some sort of ritual. You won't ever see all of the above on the test, okay? But all of those. So I ran a group that men had to do 12 sessions with me based on when they got out of prison. And they,
Mhm.
so some people came in and did 12 sessions, great. Some people had to start all over because of other things that happened in their life. People got out of prison at different times. So whenever someone left, they got their certificate and they had to come to the front and leave some words of wisdom. So that was the ritual of it. Okay, an appropriate referral if they need more than they've gotten from me. Okay, and then a review and reinforcement of changes that's occurred in group. Okay, so remember the group has become like a family. They're like really, really tight. We spent 12 weeks side by side. We're like, hey, we're tight with each other. This one is Joseph Pratt. That's one of those things sometimes you might see on the test, or those names. He did the first group. So it wasn't even really a therapeutic group. He was a doctor, and he suggested that some of his other doctor friends get together and work on a project. Tuberculosis.
Is it appropriate for like the therapist to suggest like contact outside of the group amongst the members in like a therapeutic group?
Okay. Not at all. Not at all. We don't want any of that coalition building or I would say like triangle. But what happens then if we tend to bunch up, then it's not everyone has an equal opportunity or an equal relationship. So we do not want that to happen. Emily?
Which is not a disadvantage of group work? A, need for organization. B, diversity of group work type. C, group cohesiveness. Or D, complexity of performing group work.
What is so 3 of these are disadvantages, 1 is not.
I'm going to go with B.
C, what you said?
B as in boy.
B. So 3 of these are disadvantages. So it's a diversity of group work types. So there are many types of groups. That is a disadvantage.
Okay.
Is group cohesion a disadvantage?
No.
I want group cohesion, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the lovely way the question is written.
Okay.
Could they write it so much simpler? Yes, they could. Will they? Probably not. So 3 of these things are disadvantages of group. So 1 of them is an advantage. Oh, yeah. Six, Erica?
Leaders in psychodynamic groups are very active, are relatively passive, guide rather than lead. And both B and C. Sorry.
Psychodynamic is who? Unconscious.
Oh,
Freud, absolutely. Psychodynamic and the psychoanalytic are the same thing. Psychoanalytic is what it used to be when you lived on my couch for 3 to 5 years. Psychodynamic is what we use now, where it's 12 weeks.
okay.
Okay.
So we have the psychodynamic groups. D.
So are relatively passive and guide rather than lead. So the goal is there's so much of the unconscious stuff that they're working on. Seven, Jeanette.
At which stages does leadership become shared by group participants? A, at the forming stage, B, the performing stage. I'm sorry, A, at the forming stage, B, at the performing stage, C, at the storming stage, and D, at the norming stage. At which stages does leadership become shared by group participants? So I wouldn't think it would be in the beginning, so I'm going to take away. Let's see. B as in boy.
Okay.
Was that your answer?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you were taking away.
I did.
I already took
You
away.
did say that. Okay, what's your answer? I'm sorry, I missed that.
B. B.
B. B is not your answer.
Huh? B is my
It's
answer.
not your answer.
Oh, then
That's
I'm
not
not.
the right answer.
Oh, okay. Then I'm not sure.
Well, you don't get up that easy. So the first stage is what?
Forming.
First stage is forming, and then we're going to
I'm not sure.
forming, storming. We're gonna fight, right? Then we norm. Norm is where we set up those first stages of group. The norming process is, remember, the group rules and the group norms aren't the same thing. Okay, the rules are what I say do, right? As a leader, no throwing a chair, no talking back, no whatever. But the norms are the first sign that we agree. Okay, and our goal, of course, is to get to the performing stage, but before that, it's the norming stage. So no matter what theory you use, there's always going to be an intro stage, there's going to be a first stage, and then there's going to be some kind of fighting stage, whether it's conflict, transition, or storming. Okay, and then Yalom is the only one that has that norming stage. Okay. Forming, storming, norming, performing, and then adjourning. Marcus, I'm with you.
A counselor is setting up group therapy screening appointments. She gathers the information that she will give the members to help them understand the process of being part of a therapy group. The best predictor of client success in a therapy group is A, commitment, B, dispelled myths about group, C, what role one takes on, D, their level of participation.
Well, what two is it not? No way.
It's definitely not B. Dispelled myths about the group. And let me read the question one more time. A counselor setting up group therapy screening appointments. She gathers information that she will give the members to help them. And it's not C. It's not B or C. So I'm taking those two out.
Now it's between A and D.
I'm going to choose D as in dog.
How's it different than A?
Well, the level of participation, I would imagine, is like how they participate in the group, like either verbally or non-verbally, like what they give, like kind of what you give is what you'll get out, and then commitment is how often you're showing up, which I guess matters too. So I'm actually going to switch to A as an apple.
Okay. Just because I don't talk as much as somebody else in group doesn't mean that I don't participate as much. Right? So,
Yes.
so I can come every week and talk about nothing that's really personal, but the commitment is what matters, not necessarily how much I talk. Make sense?
Yeah, but I like with participation, even if like you're not talking about stuff that's personal, like it, but it does matter like what they offer though, right? Like to have a group member who's just quiet the whole time, what benefit would that give for the
Oh
group?
my goodness. Sorry. So hopefully they wouldn't stay quiet for the whole time. If they showed up every week and they're really listening, they can definitely get a whole lot, can't they?
I know they can, but I was like wondering like
Yeah.
how does that benefit the group?
It probably wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't want that though. Hopefully by the performing and the norming and performing stage, they would come around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But there are people that just because I participate doesn't mean I'm getting things from it. There are people that talk just to talk. That makes sense.
Yes.
Try that one. I think I'm with you. Here.
Several people are talking at once, and Jamie speaks up and says, "Why didn't we each take a turn so we can listen to each other? I'm sure we all have good things to say." She is playing what group role? A, the elaborator, B, the recorder, C, the opinion seeker, or D, the gatekeeper? D.
Davida, number 13.
One advantage of group work is A, elitism, B, cultural collectivity, C, equal access, D, economy of approach. So I will rule out A and B. And then so I guess my answer would be D for thinking about insurance purposes.
Very good. Very good. What is elitism?
I would think elitism is just kind of like social standing, kind of almost.
Exactly. That's not a part of group. Emily.
In group work, there is an awareness that one is not alone. That sense is called A, enmeshment, B, cohesion, C, altruism, D, universality.
One of my curative factors.
I want to say D, universality.
Come to group. I'm not the only alcoholic. I'm not the only mother without a partner. Absolutely. Absolutely. 17. I'm with you. Oh, Jennifer, you're back. Can you take this one? Are you driving? You're muted.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me see. I just got out of work. That's why. Okay, let me read it.
Are you
Matthew,
driving?
can you I'm in the passenger side. Can I I'm almost at my
Yes.
hotel.
Yep.
15 minutes?
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep, yep. Okay. Janetta, want this one?
Matthew is a new member in a substance abuse recovery group and appears quiet and shy. Stanley, who is a veteran to the group, begins to bombard Matthew with a lot of overwhelming questions. Matthew is obviously uncomfortable by Stanley's interrogation. What should the group counselor do in this situation? A, stay silent. B, silence the group to give Matthew a chance to answer. C, block Stanley from interrogating Matthew. Or D, change the subject. I'm going to pick.
Roll out.
I'm going to rule out D and A.
Okay.
I'm going to pick. B.
Stanley's been coming to the group for a long time, right? And begins to bombard a new person with overwhelming questions. Just keep asking him questions, okay? That's why I'm gonna wear my therapist hat, right? And block Stanley, right? So it's not that everybody in the group is talking about him. It's just Stanley. I don't need to block everybody. I'm sorry, I don't need to silence everybody. I just need to block Stanley. Stanley, shut up. Nicely. Okay. Marcus?
Premature departures from group have no benefits because they disrupt the development of group cohesion and trust. I think that's false.
Won't see any true false questions ever, right? Just know
Right.
that even if I leave early, I'm still going to get something from group. Let's go to this one. Eric, are you still there? Or are you gone for a bit? I go back up to you, Davida.
If someone is assuming the role of protagonist in a group, the group is likely using A, psychodrama, B, gestalt techniques, C, bibliotherapy, D, scaffolding. So I would eliminate C, and I would eliminate D. And my answer would be A.
Absolutely.
Psychodrama.
Absolutely. What is C, bibliotherapy?
Bibliotherapy, the use of books, I would think.
Absolutely. That's it. Giving someone a book to read. Perfect. And then gestalt techniques. Give me one of those.
Would that be the chair?
Yes, the empty chair. Very good. Very good. this one, homogeneous, heterogeneous. Homo is the same, hetero is the opposite, right? Janetta, take this one for me. Janetta.
My turn again?
Uh-huh.
Okay. A group of individuals who have at least one common characteristic are a blank group. Homogeneous, heterogeneous, identical, or therapy. I'm going to eliminate C and D, and homo is the same, hetero is different, right?
So if they have at least one thing in common, they are the same.
Right, so homo.
Got it, got it. I think that's it. Heterogeneous, remember, are more, it's difficult. It takes us longer to get to that performing stage. It takes us longer to get tied to each other. However, it is definitely better. I learn more about myself, and it's a microcosm, a smaller picture of what the whole world looks like. Okay.
What type of group would be heterogeneous? Like, what group would happen that people don't have at least one thing in common?
That was an odd question. So a heterogeneous group might be an AA meeting where some people are business leaders, and some people are, while they still have something in common, they still may look and act very differently.
Okay.
A homogeneous AA group would be all young mothers or females. So that was just not that was not a good question. Okay. You want this one, Marcus? Jennifer, let me know when you're ready, okay?
Kathy has been quiet for the past few groups. As a member begins speaking about her daughter, Kathy chimes in and begins to cry. She tells the group she's been estranged from her daughter for years. Kathy is experiencing which curative factor? Altruism, catharsis, existential factors, the development of social skills. I'm going to rule out D. I'm going to rule out C also. Is that my number? B?
You did. That's the emotional release. Catharsis, a cathartic event. Catharsis. Very good.
Dr. Kim, I'm ready.
Okay, 24.
Okay. Which of the following statement is false? Scapegoating is a common occurrence in group. B, the scapegoat is a non-conformist who plays a necessary role for group. C, as long as the scapegoat can be blamed, the system goes unexamined and unchanged. And D, the emergence of a scapegoat is not potentially destructive.
So 3 of these things
So-
are true. 1 is not.
Okay, I'm gonna eliminate A.
Okay.
And I'm gonna eliminate B.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with D.
D, dog.
The D is a yes, D is not.
I got it. Remember, the scapegoat also has to have low self-esteem, right? Because most people are not going to let people beat up on them.
Okay.
Okay.
A group member discloses, do I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
A group member discloses that they are struggling with forgiving their absentee father. The group leader discloses how difficult it was for him and how He was able to eventually forgive the father that was not in his life for 30 years. The group counselor is demonstrating what technique? A, diagnosing, B, evaluating, C, countertransference, or D, modeling. So for sure, you're gonna take out A
Mhm.
and countertransference, C. So I'm left with B and D. Gonna go with D because I think evaluating would be in research. Okay, sure. I'm gonna go with D.
So what's my answer?
D is in modeling.
Yeah, good, good, good. That one?
Okay. Every group must have a clearly defined group goal. Sure. Would it be true because there's like a goal or maybe a goal or like a so what like a theme? Not a theme, but you know, like if it's psychoeducation or if it's, you know, depression, stuff like that.
So is it yes or no?
Yes, true.
It is not. Okay. So some of us have, especially those product groups, have a very clear theme of what we're supposed to be doing and what we're really working on. So this one is not one of those.
So then each group shouldn't have a goal.
The question is, it must have a clearly cut goal. It
Oh,
must.
okay, it must. Okay.
Okay, that's not true. Okay.
Next one. A group.
Let's
Oh,
get that one.
okay.
Go and try that one.
A counselor notices that as her group develops, it becomes a little chaotic as members attempt to jockey for positions in the group. According to Bruce Tuckerman's 5 stages of group development, which stage of development is this group? So A, forming, B, forming, D, norming, and C, norming, and D, performing. I would say I don't remember. I know they all have a meaning, but I don't remember. So I'm gonna get rid of A and C and go with B, stormy.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Somebody else want to turn?
It is Jack's first group. He was quite ambivalent about coming. Several of the members discuss where they have been compared to their more peaceful state in the moment, and they talk about how group has helped them. From noting their progress, Jack will likely experience A, catharsis, B, existential factors, C, the installation of hope, and D, universality. So I'm gonna take out A because catharsis is when you make like a or like a psychodrama. Existential factors, that's in local therapy, so that one's out. And I'm gonna go with D. What would be the answer? This one?
You tell me. What's the answer?
Okay, let's try C. It has to be C or D.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a
There we
reading
go.
test. It's a reading test. It's a reading test. Okay. He says that he was quite ambivalent. He wasn't sure about coming. Some of the members discussed where they have been compared to their more peaceful state in the moment. Okay. It doesn't say, I'm so glad I forgot you all because, you know, I didn't have any idea. It doesn't talk about universality. Okay. Next. Volunteer.
22-year-old Joanne grew up with a hypercritical mother. I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly. Joanne has taken a liking to Aileen, a 52-year-old kind and empathetic caretaker. Joanne has a good chance of experiencing which of the following curative factors in group with Eileen? A, altruism. B, group cohesiveness. D, corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. Or D, imitative behavior. So I'm gonna take out A. That's doing something without expecting anything in return. B, take that one out as well. So I'm gonna go with C.
Good, very good, very good, very good. Volunteers?
I think this one is groups in higher stages of development do not exhibit regression. That is false.
Got it. Give an example of what might happen.
What do you mean?
Why would I go back to an earlier stage?
Could resistance be a reason?
Well, would I be tight and then suddenly start to resist?
No.
Probably not.
Could it be like if I say it was an open group and or someone left or someone came? Now
There
you
we
can go back
go.
to the storming
There we
stage.
go. There we go. Absolutely. Got all new people in this group. Absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. Volunteers?
You are starting a psychotherapy group. It is your first night and you are reviewing the basic group guidelines. Regarding confidentiality, you should tell members A, that you will guarantee it no matter what, B, that confidentiality does not apply in the group setting, C, that while it is an expectation, you cannot guarantee it, or D, that the need to breach confidentiality to protect a member from harm does not apply to the group setting. I'm going to eliminate A and B. Well, no, A and the need to breach and D, and I'm going to pick C.
No way of making adults do anything. Very good, very good, very good. Somebody?
Oh, go ahead, Emily.
Okay. Benefits. You can go, Emily.
Okay. Benefits to having a group co-leader include which of the following? A, managing issues of counter-transfer from either leader. B, group continuity when one leader is absent. C, different points of view and observation. Or D, all of the above.
When I have a group leader, remember, it's very beneficial to make sure they're male and female, and also that we are close to the same the orientation, theoretical orientation.
I remember in the book it talking about different points of views and observations and how that can be positive. I'm going to go with D, all of the above.
Good, very good. Come on, so I was dying to do this one before. Be brave, be brave.
What term is used to refer to when a group experiences a sense of weakness, enmeshment, dysfunction, group cohesiveness, group development? My answer is C, group cohesiveness.
The tightness. Very good, very good. Who hadn't had one recently? Come on.
After the group session, one counselor asked his co-facilitator, "It's been 6 weeks, so what changes do you see taking place in the group?" This group counselor is A, participating in the group, B, evaluating the group, C, auditing the group, and D, reorganizing the group. I will eliminate A. I would also eliminate D, and I would choose B as in boy.
Very good, very good, very good. This one in 1905. Oh, that was 1905. 1895. Right, sorry. No, this gives me a different answer. We're skipping that one. Pratt is the one that we usually give the credit to.
Dr. Pam, are there a lot of like dates, like what we just
No.
saw that question? Okay.
No. Ones I try to point out to you, 1976, that's when the Virginia first had the first counselor. We talked about, 1909. Yeah, that's when, what's his name, first came out with the first book, The Trading Factor. So no, not a lot.
Okay.
We're back to Tuckman. What stage is this? Rita, go ahead.
Okay. Today is the first day of the 8-week ADH group where members are meeting together for the first time. According to Bruce Tuckerman's 5 stages of group development, what stage is this group in? A, forming, B, norming, C, storming, D, performing. I will rule out B and C, and the answer would be A, since it's the first meeting.
Good. Volunteers? Marcus?
A group is a microcosm of the real
Smaller
world.
version of the real world.
Okay. By acting in the group in a changed manner, change will generalize. This idea can be attributed to blank approach to group therapy. A, behavioral therapy, B, reality therapy, C, psychodynamics, D, gestalt therapy. Okay, so I'm going to rule out B.
That's
as in
Glasser,
yeah, and I'm also going to rule out C,
Freud,
and I'm going to choose A, behavioral therapy. By acting in the group in a changed manner, change will generalize. I don't know.
take a guess.
Change will generalize. Is it D? Oh, yes. Okay.
Dr. Pam, what did you say microcosm is?
A smaller version of the real world.
Okay.
Okay. So reality therapists believe that you own your behavior and therefore you can behave as you choose in the group setting by choosing to behave in a certain way in group. Well, the client is safe and free from the real world. The client can try new behaviors and take it home with them. A behaviorist approach, I would have been looking for something with rewards and consequences. I see the word, yeah, that's what you're looking at is changing the behavior, but a behaviorist would say in order to change the behavior, there have to be some rewards or consequences. Make sense? Anyone?
Of the following, the most effective duration for a group is A, 90 minutes, B, 45 minutes, C, 3 hours, D, a half a day. I'm going with A, 90 minutes.
That's it. That's it. Very good. Very good. Well, these are the type of groups. What's this one? Thanks, Marcus.
You're so welcome.
We're just running out of people, okay?
Nicole is involved in Alcoholics Anonymous. Every few months, she and her husband attend a couples weekend within the program that runs from Friday evening through Sunday afternoon. This would be considered a tea group, B, therapy group, C, encounter group, D, marathon group. I'm going to eliminate B.
The group usually takes place in a hospital setting, right? A clinical
Right.
setting.
I have no idea what a T group is.
T group is a training group. That is, you know, when we used to be like, you know, on a Friday afternoon or take the Friday off and everybody went to some kind of retreat or something. The whole office went. Yeah, that's a training group.
Okay, so I'm also going to eliminate T group.
Okay. What's a T group?
T group
Oh,
is
sorry,
like
that's a training group. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
I apologize. Okay. Now between C and D.
I'm going to choose D as in dog.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Because it lasted the weekend. So that would be considered a marathon. An encounter group is when we all suddenly get together for one event. So we talk about Tony Robinson used to have these bizarre things where people would get out in the middle of the desert and be in these hot tents and sweat and blah, blah, blah. So yes. Okay. Are we back? Done? You want this one? Okay. You hear me? Done? You guys hear her? Can't hear you. Erica, you want this one?
During which stage of group formation is dependence on the leader the highest? Norming, performing, storming, or forming? A.
Which one?
A.
A, norming?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Norming is when they get together and they're making their own
It's starting, right?
rules. It goes from being very leader-led to then being very group-led. So in the beginning,
Yeah, right. So forming is the start.
so in the beginning, they're very much, it's leader-led. Okay. Try this one again also. You're muted.
Okay. After much discussion, an ADHD group. After much discussion, an ADHD group that has just formed has established and agreed upon the ground rules for participating in the group and some of the goals that they would like to achieve. Which stage of development is group in? Stage of development is this group in? So they're setting ground rules.
Form.
It's already formed. A journey isn't Tuckerman. I'll take
Yes,
that.
it is. It is.
Yes.
Sometimes it's called morning and sometimes it's called a journey. Yes.
Morning. Okay, I'm used to.
Either one of those would be correct.
Okay, so that's definitely out because that's the last stage then. Storming is the second stage. Norming is when we've gotten together. Forming, we're working, we're trusting. So storming.
So after much discussion, the ADHD group that is just formed has established and agreed upon group rules for participation in the group and some of the goals of the group they would like to achieve. So where do you see that they're fighting?
Where do I see they're what? Fighting?
Fighting. If that's, you said storming, there'd be something where somewhere where they're disagreeing.
Not fighting anywhere. They're coming up with goals. I guess I'm confused then. Performing.
What about normal?
So every time I say normal, it's wrong, and then when I don't say it,
Well, that's how it works. It's a trick test. The keys in the question were it just started. And they're coming up with the ground rules. That's the group norm.
Performing.
Got it. Okay. Okay. But also remember just what's happening in the stages. Right? Not necessarily remember in the order of the stages, what's happening in the norming stage. Remember, in the beginning, I set the rules, no throwing a chair, no doing this. But the norms, the way that the people operate in the group is set by the group. Make sense? Just pick norming every time and eventually you'll get one right. That is not the way to take the test.
No.
Not at all. Jennifer?
Yes, give me 1 second. Jacob, a 32-year-old man with severe anxiety, has been in the group for 9 months and has decided it's time for him to move on. During his last group, he discusses how the group is one of the only places he ever feels as if he belonged. He is expressing which correlative factor? A, imparting information. B, group cohesiveness. C, existential factors. And D, altruism. So let's take out D. And let's take out C. I'm gonna go with group cohesiveness, letter B as in boy.
Good. Take this one too.
Which of the following might be inappropriate for group? A mother with postpartum depression. B, a young adult with bipolar disorder who is easily irritated. C, a recent retiree with generalized anxiety. Or D, an 18-year-old with school refusal. Oh man. Okay, I have no clue. Let's get rid of A and C. I'm gonna go with B just because the bipolar and he's easily irritated, so he might not have patience.
Exactly. And not only would it be disruptive to him, he wouldn't benefit, but also be very disruptive to the group.
Okay.
And we don't need that. Okay, absolutely.
Which of the following can be a benefit to group members when participating in therapeutic groups? A, corrective recapitulation of the primary family groups. B, development of socialization techniques. C, the learning and adaptation of new behavior. Or D, all of the above.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't answer that, did you? I'm sorry.
No, but I know the answer. So,
sorry.
okay.
Okay, one more for you.
Okay. You are a leader in a psychodynamic group. The group formed about 5 weeks ago. Tonight, one of the group members made a disrespectful comment to another member. What should you do? A, say nothing. They are in the storming phase and need to work through it. B, say nothing. Your role as a leader is to guide, not direct. The patient will benefit from learning how to stand up for herself. So I want to throw those two out already. C, speak up and reiterate group rules and redirect the client who made the disrespectful comment. And D, take over and speak for the client who is disrespected. She can't tolerate the turmoil. I'm gonna get rid of A and B, and I'm gonna go with C.
Very good. Okay.
Can I read this one? Okay. You are a leader in a psychodynamic group. The group formed about, oh, it's the same one?
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry. Which of the following would be your best response to the scenario above? A, John, you can't say that, it breaks group rules. Now please apologize. B, okay, group, let's move on to another topic. C, John, it seems that you have a very strong opinion about Mary's behavior. Can you do right to you do have a right to your opinion, but the way you said it, that sounded disrespectful to me. Can you please rephrase it? Or Mary, do you have something to say? Do you have something you want to say to John? Oh God. Let's get rid of B and let's get rid of D. I'm gonna go with C.
Yeah, be good. Okie dokie, let's give someone else a chance. Somebody else step up.
Sorry.
Come on.
A group member is engaging in a side conversation in a psychoeducational group. The group leader stops and says, Mary, I'm sure that what you are talking about is very important to you, but you're missing out on some good content here. And it's difficult for me to teach because I'm distracted. Would you please put that on hold for now and resume it at the break? Mary, in the example, could also experience another curative factor. Which is it? A, development of social skills, B, catharsis, C, altruism, and D, corrective recapitalization of the primary family group. Catharsis is that cry. Altruism is doing something without wanting anything back. D is where something reminds you of something, right? Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate B and C. And I'm going to pick A.
Very good, very good, very good. Stay with me, the next one also.
B, you want me to do this one too?
Yeah, please.
In terms of assertiveness skills, the group members will experience what curative factor? A, imitative behavior, B, group cohesion, C, corrective recapitalization of the primary family group, or D, installation of hope. In terms of assertive skills, I'm going to Can you remind me what A is again?
Imitative behavior, imitating someone else's behavior, or the counselor can do the modeling.
Okay, right. So I'm gonna take that one out. I'm going to also take out C.
Okay.
I'm going to pick B.
Okay, see the tightness in group in the question.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
So where do you see that?
Surface is bad.
Where do you see that?
I feel like I thought that once it was redirected from the conflict, it would develop that.
No thinking, just reading.
You want me to pick another one?
I do.
Okay. Which ones I took out A and C. Okay, well, let's go
Go
with
back to the question. No guessing. Let's go back to the question. What's happening in the question?
Mary is being disruptive while the therapist is teaching a psychoeducation group.
Okay. And she says, hey, you're missing out on some good content here, and it's difficult for me to teach because I'm distracted. Can you please put it on hold and resume it after the break? Okay. So a group member is deciding in a side conversation. I don't see any family there, do you?
No.
I don't see anybody talking about how great this group is and any hope. That might be right. Well, yes, Dr. Pam, you're extremely brilliant. Thank you.
I don't.
It cut out. It's cutting out.
I only have 4. I only have 4 choices. All I got is the best of the 4.
So how's the group member modeling or imitating a behavior from who?
She's modeling. Imitative behavior is what the client would learn. The group members will experience what? So if I say something, right, then the other group members should hear also, right, that stop talking. What else can you prove? I got the best of the 4.
The other one's definitely one there, so that would.
So the key to the question was assertiveness skills. So is it that the therapist or group leader rather is modeling her being assertive in correcting Mary?
Got it. And they should learn by watching Mary get in trouble. There's
Okay, so
nothing
she's
about how
modeling
tight
a
we are.
behavior that needs to happen in the group by
And the
showing.
group members will experience what? They will then imitate the same behavior. They'll stop talking too, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, the way you explained it.
Okay. It has to match the question, okay? There's nothing about group and how tight we are. There's nothing in there that talks about somebody gave me hope. Like that one, 61, anybody?
I'll read it.
Okay.
All groups share the same group stages. No group stage is ever
Truncated.
truncated or absent.
That means shorted.
False? Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
false. Very good. Again, those all and not and ever, those things are just always clues that can't be the right answer. Take this one for me.
this week the group leader begins group with an idea that the group should role play. The suggested scenario is the group member will act as a dysfunctional family. Members are to act out a better way to communicate with coaching from the group members. This type of creativity in the group work on behalf of the group counselor is called A, inventiveness, B, crystallization, C, empathy work, D, triangulation. I want to go with C as empathy work.
Prove it to me.
What?
Prove it to me. What words show me that he's showing empathy? Empathy is putting yourself in the other person's shoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see that in the question?
I don't like.
Well, that can't be my answer then, if I can't prove it. Okay, so I'm going to rule out empathy work. What is crystallization?
Isn't it like in sorry.
It belongs to one of my career people. Who does it belong to?
Is it roll and axle?
That is super. That's one of super stages. Right. Crystallization is from 18 to 21. It's not
So it's
crystallization.
A, inventiveness.
It is. It is. That's not a clinical term, is it? That just means he made some stuff up.
Okay.
Okay. So again, that's not a term that I would necessarily teach you on the test, but the goal is that I know what everything else is. Okay. I know what triangulation is. There's two people, right? And they bring a third person in. Empathy with like Carl Rogers who talks about, putting yourself in the client's shoes, something how they did something really awful and I can empathize. And crystallization belongs to super.
So if they were talking more kind of like psychodynamic where you have the or not psychodynamic, psychodrama where there was like an example where it talked about like they're role playing the client. It would be kind of, but empathy work isn't in psycho. Never mind, I just realized.
I was just really, it'd be great if it were just, if one of my choices was, Jacob Moreno, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking for, but that's not. So that's how well I just have to know the verbiage to know it can't be this. So I've got to just go back to the question. If I can't prove it in the question, that can't be the answer.
Okay.
Okay. Someone else? 65?
Jerry hears a fellow group member say, I am really struggling with this divorce. I can't see my way to the other side sometimes. It seems like I'll never feel better. Jerry just experienced a relationship breakup himself, which spun him into a depression. Though the group member situation is unfortunate, Jerry feels a little better hearing about it. Jerry is experiencing which curative factor of group therapy? So I would take out the options are A, emotive behavior, B, imparting information, C, installation of hope, and D, universality. So I would take out A and B, which leaves C and D. And so I would say C, installation of hope, since he's feeling better. So then I would say D. They're not alone. Okay. So why would it? So it says he feels a little better.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
Okay.
Usually the next question is the same. It's the same question with what other one, so either one of those could be right. Usually there's another question right behind you that says, what other cathartic event could he be feeling?
Okay.
So either one of those would have been okay. But yeah, either one of those would have been okay. Try that one, somebody.
Oh, somebody.
You can take it again, Davida. I don't think anyone minds.
Okay. Mike, a group member in his 20s, tells a group member about a support group and a coping strategy he finds beneficial. What curative factor might Mike and the group members be experiencing when discussing how the group helped them? A, interpersonal learning, B, existential factors, C, altruism, and D, emotive behavior. So I will rule out C and D and say the answer would be A, interpersonal learning. No, coping strategy he finds beneficial. What curative factor might in the group members?
So read it out loud again.
Okay. Mike, a group member in his 20s, tells a group member about a support group and a coping strategy he finds beneficial.
So he shared something with the group that he learned.
Okay. Okay. And then, so what curative factor that he learned?
By sharing something with the group, what curative factor is that?
D.
What's he imitating?
I was going to say the coping strategy, but clearly no.
All he did was tell somebody about it.
So altruism is when you're just doing something with no personal benefit.
Ding, ding, ding.
So why wouldn't it be interpersonal learning?
He's teaching him something.
He's teaching them.
Yes. Mike is telling his group members about it.
So, okay. So I think I got hung up. I see where I got hung up because they were discussing it. So that's where I got hung up at. Okay.
But I thought like, because I would have chosen A as well, because the interpersonal part, like he's working with others, with like what he learned.
So I was looking for imparting information.
Mhm.
That would be one of them. Interpersonal learning is learning from the group, learning from others in the group. But I would look, imparting information would have been something I would have been looking for, not interpersonal learning. I'll try this one then. It's the same part, it's the same question, just a different.
Right. So same question, Mike, a group member in his 20s, tells a group member about a support group and coping strategies he finds beneficial. This is an example of which curative factor: A, imparting of information; B, catharsis; C, immersive behavior; D, group cohesiveness. So A, imparting of information.
The other one could have been. Try that one, somebody.
Desiree has been working at a local community mental health center for several months, and she has been asked to assist with their quarterly new patient group. When Desiree arrives, she is shocked to find over 50 people at the center. This group is likely a T group, B therapy group, C encounter group, D marathon group. I'm going to take out D. I'm also going to take out A, and I'm going to choose B as in boy, since it's at a community mental health center.
Well, you miss out the fact that there are 50 people there, though. Isn't that a lot for a group? The normal size group is 8. There's 50 people there.
She's for the new patient group. Oh, okay. I didn't assume that they were all in the group. I thought it was like that they were just going through papers to like see interest or something. Okay.
Okay, that's a stretch. Okay, so no, just stay in the question. Okay, she's working at a little community health center for several months when she's been asked to assist with their new quarterly patient group. It's a quarterly patient group.
Okay, so since it's quarterly, then it would be an encounter group.
There we go. There we go. It's a reading test. When they tell you there's 50 people there, that is not a therapy group. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Volunteers?
You started a group a month ago. You noticed this week that people have settled into a consistent seating arrangement and are having side conversations with those next to them before and after group. 3 participants in particular have pulled you aside and told you that one of the other group members is annoying them by monopolizing the group time. This is characteristic of A, the forming stage; B, the storming stage; C, the adjoining phase; and D, the performing stage. So I'm going to weed out A, and I'm also going to weed out C. I'm going to pick B, the storming stage, since there's conflicts.
No, that's what the storming stage looks like. There we go. There we go. Someone else?
Take it.
Come on, volunteer.
Nancy states that she is afraid to fill out an online job application. Bob quickly volunteers to help her. The group counselor says to Bob, "Thank you, Bob, for offering, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure that is good. I'm not sure that is a good idea." Remember, Nancy's goal is to become more independent. Nancy, I believe that you are quite capable of doing this on your own. You have what it takes. What is the group counselors demonstrating in this statement? Group counselor, okay. Empathy, confrontation, support, or blocking. Transportation. Counselors, stop blocking. Support them.
I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. He didn't tell her to shut up. He didn't say, Bob, shut up.
Yeah, he didn't. Said let her do it herself.
Got this one?
If a counselor is interested in starting a psychoeducational group for people who are grieving the loss of a pet in the community, the counselor will have to blank for members. Access and diagnose, recruit and screen, plan and organize, find resources and referrals.
What would I do first?
Gonna first plan. Chief development, so resources.
What'd you pick? What'd you rule out? Let's go there.
I ruled out A and B.
Okay.
First. Oops, sorry.
Counselor.
Okay, so recruit and screen, I definitely wouldn't take that out. That would be something I would do first, wouldn't I? So between B and C would be my choices. Which one of those would I do first?
You said you would recruit and screen first?
Rationale why?
But why would I recruit before I plan?
This just says it's talking about your marketing plan of how to get it out there.
Oh, marketing.
It doesn't
So
say
it's-
that, but that's the answer.
Yeah, I see the response says marketing. I didn't see that in the question.
Mhm. So recruit and screen because of the type of group. There are a lot of people who would make fun of people who were crying in a group if they didn't understand the loss phenomenon. So the type of the group makes that why that's the best answer. Okie dokie, guys. So let's just kind of recap. What week are we on? We started 7-11.
I have no idea.
Started 7-11.
It says we have 13. Well, no, never mind. 13
You can't have
sessions.
13 left.
Yeah, I'm just looking in the dashboard, so now I don't know.
I think we're on week 9.
I was going to say we're about halfway, so we're over halfway through. Okay, so what have we studied? What have we covered?
Family, group,
Theories.
So family, we did theorists, families, and groups. Okay, so are we ready to move on? Did we do the helping relations? We just start with the chapter 1, the helping relations?
The
Yes.
counseling and health relation was our first 3, 4
Yeah.
weeks.
No, okay, I'm sorry, human behavior.
No, we haven't.
Okay, we're gonna go back and pick up human behavior and then diversity. Okay.
Okay.
So we've gone over a lot, guys. A lot. Review these videos over and over and over again. So human development is chapter 1. It's the same kind of thing. So start off with those first 5 people, learning my Freudian theorists, all those good stuff. Okay, Piaget, Kohlberg, all those people. Okay. Chapter 1. I need to put that in the, is it? I'll put it in the chat box. I apologize.
So you want us to do human growth and development and cultural diversity?
No, those are our next 2 though. So we're going to do human diversity next week. We'll do culture. We'll do social culture the week after that. But we might spend 2 weeks on human diversity. Human development. Diversity is a really short chapter. Okay, are we feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna take my test in November.
I think you should not. I just think that during the week we need to find more time to study. That's really it. I swear to you. Stretching it out is you'll get so tired of this, but over and over and over. And I say, 3 times a day. If you can only do 2 hours a day, but they need to be separate hours, an hour in the morning, an hour at night. And if you're doing note cards or just going back and watching these videos over and over and over again, that's what makes it stick, is the repetition, the key. So that's the goal, is every day you should get up to be doing something toward this test. Okay, so that's how we're gonna learn it. Okay, and I know it's a lot. I really do, but the goal is just, again, over and over and over.
Did you say we should not take it in November?
That's what you should. No,
Oh, we should. Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't push it back. Don't push it back. No.
Oh, I thought you were telling me.
I thought.
No, I'm sorry. I said, do not do that. Do not do that.
Oh, do not take it.
Okay, well, I won't.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do not change it. Do not change it.
Okay.
Do all of y'all already have your scheduled?
I'm just waiting to get the schedule. I've paid though.
Supposed to schedule, but I'm approved to test in November. Just haven't. I would like to take it at home, but
Your state allow that?
yeah, there's no testing locations that have seats available in November, so I just have to get approved to test at home. So I sent my video to, I forgot the name of the place.
Okay. I wrap you up, guys. I'll go back and put these flashcards and some other, and then the chapter in your book. Okay. Again, I know, but the key is consistency. Every single day, this should be the only thing on your mind when you wake up before you go to bed at night. After your prayers, okay? Then learning this stuff over and over and over and over and over again. I swear you'll get it if you just put in the effort. This needs to be your priority. Okay? You can do it. I swear you can. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.